over the next 3 months, this is going into November 26th, that there will initially be activity beneath the earth that eventually makes its way up to the crust and forming a line that runs north to south, west. And if you see globally, even what world leaders are trying to do to each other is destabilize each other's ships in these storms. And yet, we'll all soon realize we don't need to be aboard these big stormy ships. Hello everyone. I'm Jon Binnie. Thank you so much for joining our episode today. And I'm a professional spiritual psychic mentor living here in Scotland in the UK. And it's my mission to help balance, harmonize the darkness and light across this planet, to help people support them on their awakening journeys, and to help raise the vibrations, help people feel happier and more of themselves each day. So thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah, so to explain, to introduce perhaps at least one or two of my spirit guides. So first of all, I would say that we all have spirit guides if our souls have chosen them, and that our spirit guides are really different reflections of our soul. Often before we choose an incarnation, I see in myself and in my clients that our souls will go through a bit of discussion with other souls that we've had previous experience with, or we've invited in new ones to work with because of the challenges that we see ahead of us in the lifetimes that we choose. And so for me, my most active spirit guide, and she's the first one that introduced herself to me. Her name is Maya, with an M. And so Maya is an earth elemental being. And she also takes form either as an energy beneath the earth, and she has the ability to form into human form, which I see primarily in my third eye sight. And she also has experience of different lifetimes, such as on Andromeda. I also work very closely with Gaia. So, Mother Gaia, the spirit of the earth, the soul of the earth. And she's been a huge part in me expanding my mission beyond just channeling messages and creating songs. She's really helped support me in the continued helping people through their past lives, present, future lives, connecting with the earth, returning back to their hearts, helping them clear anything and let go of anything that doesn't serve their highest good, and helping us remember what it's like to be humans that really feel part of nature once more. We feel the abundance, the love of the planet, and ultimately the unity of each other that so many of us are kind of blocking or numbing ourselves to. And we're being called now as a human race to really step into this reunification of the human race, as well as planet Earth, Mother Gaia, and all the living things across the planet. The balance of darkness and light, and you might notice I'm wearing black, which is maybe unusual for some people that do my line of work, and a white background. And I feel that at the moment on planet Earth, and this has been true now for thousands of years, that we've been dominated by the more negative, the darker side of a lower vibration side of our reality. So beings that really don't have our highest good at heart and are seeking to control us, to use us, to drain our energy, and to stop us ultimately from ascending. And this is a spectrum, right? So it's not dark versus light. This is a spectrum of dark to light and everything in between. And really, as humans, we are everything. We have this beautiful superpower of this broad frequency spectrum of very low vibration. So feeling these can be considered emotions such as shame, fear, anxiety, hatred, separation, and then all the way up to the higher vibration emotions that we feel, including joy and love and unity and gratitude and everything in between. And so really what my mission is to help do is to help rebalance the scales, to bring harmony. This isn't really my feeling is it's not 50-50, that it's closer to 80-20 or something like that, where there's a harmony, which we see in nature very beautifully. When you go into a forest or into woods, and sometimes you sense like a darker, lower vibration area of the woods. Maybe the trees visually look or feel darker to you. And it can be a sign that this is an area where every being gets to choose where they live in a forest. And those in a kind of sadder moment and darker moments in their lives or with lower vibration intentions may seek out these places and go to them. And this is really a harmonization of, forests and woods. Mother Nature does this really well, is helping bring that balance. So no segregation or isolation, but more allowing free will choice so that we can explore all these different things. So yes, very much my mission is to help rebalance these scales to whatever that harmony feels like of the darkness and light inside of all of us and also expressed outside across this whole planet. So I will ask Mother Gaia for any news on upcoming events with any floods, weather events, any earthquakes, tremors of volcanoes that are coming up over the next 3 months or more on Earth. And I'm just asking her to show me. And for the first time, she is showing me some activity that will begin to emerge in the Atlantic. And this is actually towards Europe. And this activity, it is not fully understood yet from our own geologists about how energy transfers from one side of the sphere of Earth to the other. And yet, this is very much a reflection of the activity that's been happening in the Pacific. And so, over the next 3 months, this is going into November 26th, that there will initially be activity beneath the Earth that eventually makes its way up to the crust and forming a line that runs north to south, west. It is some way off, over 500 miles east of the UK and Scotland. And yet it runs in a similar pattern of the shape of the UK and down past Spain and Portugal and tails off into the west. This is new activity, an area that hasn't seen activity in some time. It begins with a small, what appears to be a fault beginning to open, and then increased activity in the area. This may be surprising to many, and it does have some knock-on effects with more of the existing activity that we're aware of, the more sensitive areas around Italy, around Europe. This is not a time to panic, but simply a time to see that there is a connection between the earthquakes, the volcanoes, and the human activities in the areas. And this particular earth activity is a purging of energy that has been pushed down, in particular from London, UK. And this is low vibration emotions and activities with regard to financial control, control of many humans, and also the trafficking of humans. Remember, it is the emotional energy of humans and every living thing that has been pushed down beneath the surface of the earth that is now being released back up. And in the releasing of energy, we will expect to see some activity across the UK and Europe. This earth activity is not high in the measures, not much more than 5 or 6 magnitude. But do know that the surprising changes in the locations of these activities are not to be feared. If anything, they are to be celebrated because finally this energy is being released. We cannot heal And we cannot continue to ascend unless we face this fear, face this suppressed truth. It is time for us to release it and allow it. And know that for all of you who may potentially be affected, you will have at least 3 days warning. You don't need the news. You don't even need to follow social media. You'll feel it in your heart and feel it in your feet. So keep an open heart and keep connected with the earth. You will feel this, know this. Thank you. So there's definitely changes coming our way. We've seen increased activity between America and, for instance, recent visits to the UK and also all of Europe. Constant changes, turbulence both in the geology and the weather, and then also the politics between these different countries. If I was to first of all take a step back and answer the question of like, what are the changes that we're seeing? What do I predict? What are my guides saying? What is Gaia saying about these changes? Well, first of all, if we imagine the whole world as one at this time, those that are currently world leaders, those that are in what they feel is power, and those that feel that they are in power of the financial aspects of this whole planet, these they rely on each of us being in fear. They rely on us being scared. And so they also know they're not silly, they're not daft. They know what's coming. Many of them have the ability, just like we do, to see what's coming in the future. And they know that it's the end. It's the end of their reign of darkness. It's the end of control. It's the collapse, the dark web around the earth, this ancient matrix that tries to control us and contain us and squeeze our hearts and keep us in fear is collapsing. And so what we're seeing now is really the remaining leaders and those that try to control us scrabbling around for the scraps. They're trying to accept lower and less control, and also try and have an effect. So try and make a bit of a mess on their way out as they lose their control of the earth. And what this means is, if we focus, for example, on the US and Europe, what we're beginning to see is in Europe this tide changing of people feeling into, well, what do I really want as a human? What is really important to me? There are attempts, for example, in the UK to ignite challenges around immigration. And they're all intended, these are all programs of fear intended to help propagate the division between us. And as we heard from Mother Gaia is telling us we're all one human race. We're all one family. It doesn't matter how we fight each other, we're still always going to be one family. We're always going to be in a position where we could choose to come together. So as these monetary systems begin to collapse, as we begin to see the control of world leaders and country leaders who are just struggling to control their people, and they're also struggling within themselves to really find joy in what they do. Because the power, if you like, the joy, the kind of negative joy of greed, that feeling, that emotion is lowering, it's being released, its energy is dissipating. It's much less satisfying for those that feed upon it. So if you're feeding on greed, you're going to get pretty hungry. You're going to start to starve yourself of those feelings. And so what I have seen more recently energetically in Europe as well is this reconnection with the very heart, the heart chakra of Mother Earth. And so going back thousands of years, and I remember this clearly from past lives, there were constant battles for sacred sites, Stonehenge, the Ring of Brodgar and Orkney, many places, the rose line, ley line of Earth, the very ley line that runs across the heart of Mother Gaia. These are places that have been sacred and yet kept hidden, not very well as a secret, but kind of hidden in plain sight. And so as we begin to feel more joy in our lives, as we connect more with each other, As we start to step away from mainstream media, even what we see on social media, and the fear stories that we're telling each other as a human race, reconnect more with the trees, reconnect more with your loved ones, with your neighbors, with your friends and family. You start to disconnect from this matrix. We see more and more people stepping out of their 9 to 5 jobs. You can work 9 to 5 if you choose, but you don't need to do it because you're scared. No one is here to tell you in this, no one can tell you in this life what you can and can't do or what you can and can't be successful at. It's totally up to you to explore yourself. And so this disconnection we're beginning to see in Europe and with the US as well is all evidence that more and more hearts are awakening and becoming disillusioned with greed. Greed is not satisfying us, it's not satisfying those that feed upon it. And we'll start to see larger companies beginning to have pressure to become smaller and more community led, more federated. And we'll also see these bigger countries kind of creaking like giant ships in a storm, giant wooden ship, creaking and struggling to hold integrity. And if you see globally, even what world leaders are trying to do to each other is destabilize each other's ships in these storms. And yet, we'll all soon realize we don't need to be aboard these big stormy ships. We're perfectly capable of swimming, from building our own ships, from finding our own land and our own ways of living. And so these are all beautiful opportunities through this chaos and this fear energy to seek out the opportunities. Because within every crisis is a new opportunity for us to explore our joy, love, and unity. So there's very much a powerful and strong message from Mother Gaia at this time. And if it's okay with you, I did create a safe space just before we started. So if you'd like to join me in receiving this message from Mother Gaia, I will do a short channeling from her. So just give me one moment as I invite her into my energy. Dear beautiful souls, children of the earth, I come to you at this time with the words in human voice and yet the feelings of a whole planet. A oneness is coming. It is cultivating within each of us. One soul of Mother Earth, one Earth with one human race, with one population of inhabitants of all beings, every living thing across this planet. The changes you are observing outside, above the surface of the planet, earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes, the weather events, the winds, the superstorms. These are all the purge, the purging and releasing of all that you've held within your hearts for far too long. And it is time for you now to listen to this message with your heart. For if you are watching us at this time, we invite you to open your heart safely in this moment. For each of you, every living thing across this planet deserves and has the divine right of free will, of a home to call your own, a safe space with strong boundaries that you decide and determine, loved ones that you love and protect. And yet, something new for all of humanity is this message of unity. Just as the wind and the water and the earth and the fire of this planet work in perfect harmony, in unity together, so are all the hearts of every being across this planet at this time invited to connect together. Please imagine your heart as a small light as if you were viewing all of planet Earth from space. See all of the lights in all the hearts of every living thing. And imagine a small cord of light connected, weaving between each heart, every single heart. For every heart has light, even the darkest of hearts. And every heart gets to choose whether they connect in unity. Allow the purges to continue. Listen to your heart, listen to your feet, and your connection to the earth. I, Mother Gaia, will always warn you, give you forewarning of earth events beneath the earth, above the surface, and yes, even in your skies and space above. You can feel it. You do not need to rely on others to tell you this, to tell you how you feel. Your opening heart, as you allow your heart to gently soften, to face the sun, just like a beautiful rose opens up, or a sunflower, to receive the energy of the earth, to receive the energy of the sun. Allow your heart to soften and open and awaken, to remember the harmony and unity of all those that choose to connect. And remember, above all, you are nature, and you are being called to return to nature. And you will begin to see each day, the more you practice opening your heart, the more you practice connecting with the earth, the more you practice your meditations and connecting with your joy, and the more you help each other, the more beautiful this whole reality outside of you will become. Letting go of the structures and the dark conspiracies, of which many are true, letting them go, allowing the universe to serve karma where it is due. Just like I have fire that burns beneath the surface, the magma of the earth burns away anything that no longer serves us. Allow this, and allow your new earth, your new fourth and fifth dimensional earths to be born, for they are being born within the heart of every single one of you. And this is my message. I love you. I welcome you back to your heart and back to earth. So a huge part of my journey has been for many years connecting with Mother Earth, Mother Nature, and trees in particular, more so than I ever expected. And there is a beautiful wisdom within trees. Trees are alive. We might be familiar with this traditional concept that trees can be alive or dead. Trees are sentience. They are conscious. They have feelings. They have souls. And beautifully, what trees have to teach us is that trees, when they come together in woods, in a forest, that they also bring together a unity, a kind of form of collective consciousness. This is a mirror also for what humanity does. It's just sometimes we've forgotten what that's like. And even more beautifully, just like the potential that the humanity has, is that trees are all connected around the earth together. So through the waterways, the energy ley lines, the grid of energy that flows around the whole world, and also the root systems, the chemicals that they share with each other and their energy. So a huge part of what I've been doing recently is connecting more and more with trees in very unusual ways. And one of my recent experiences is going to, and we have many beautiful woods here in Scotland, so going to visit the woods. And when I go there, I go with the intention to ask the trees, to psychically talk with trees in ways that are beyond just even the role or what we'd expect the role of a tree to be. And so what I do is just before I visit the place, I'll ask permission before I enter a forest. I would like to enter this safe space. I'd like to become part of this forest and connect with the trees psychically. And I also create an energetic protective bubble around me. And I set the intention that I'll only bring in messages for the highest good, love, and compassion of all. And then simply, I walk, often with my dog. I have a little papillon called Patch, a little black and white dog, and we walk together through the woods. And I ask a tree a question. And increasingly, I've been getting my phone and I've been asking you to submit questions to me on my website. And then I'll just pick one of the questions randomly, and they can be about anything. It can be about ascension, about meditation, about life changes, predictions in uh, weather events or earth events. And so then once I find a tree, I feel with my heart a tree that is ready to answer that question. In my third eye, I see the energy of the tree begin to expand and lighten these little sparkles around the bark of the tree and the trunk of the tree. And then I'll walk up to the tree and place my left hand, my receiving hand, onto the tree, and my other hand on my heart, and I'll ask the question out loud. So, for example, I will ask, Tree, please answer whether there will be any weather events in my local town in the next month. And then I allow. So it's a practice of receiving next. And it's a practice of receiving through my hands. And I also feel it through my crown chakra. I feel that when we connect when we stand close to trees, our auras and the aura of the tree overlap significantly. So we're already in their grace, in their presence. And what I feel through my hand is this beautiful flow of energy down my left arm and into my heart. And just as I would talk to a spirit guide, I feel the whisper, or as I speak to Mother Gaia, I feel the whisper of their voice in my heart. And so our hearts and our throats are so close for a reason. And it's so you can allow the expression, that releasing of the answer to be said out loud. So I just say it out loud. And once I have received the answer, most importantly, I always thank the tree and feel it in my heart. Thank you so much. Thank you for your message. The perspectives of trees are truly incredible. Sometimes we forget that trees are very much like the hairs on your skin, like these. They are the hairs on the skin of Mother Earth, and they can see the sky. They can see what's going on in the stars. They can feel the energy beneath the earth and in the air and all around us. And so they're constantly consciously aware of so much across the planet. And yet they're very easy to mistake as just a large stick standing there and not really being of much significance to our lives. And yet they yield and hold such beautiful wisdom. So once I've said my gratitudes and thank you to a tree, I then continue on my journey and I will ask other trees other questions. And I will be shortly releasing a free meditation to guide people through these steps, just as I've shown you today, and something you can just listen to as you walk, perhaps playing on your phone, and go up and try this yourself. And it just takes practice. I started out just asking trees their age, and I would ask my family member I was with to try the same and see what answers we get. And it's just such fun. Not every tree will say yes. Not every experience will be super vocal and loud in your heart or in your mind. And know that every experience is an opportunity to explore your own superpowers. We all have our own unique ways of connecting with nature, not just trees, the rocks, the plants, the insects, the sky, the clouds, the earth. And so this is a beautiful reminder for us all to practice something that is very much human height, human level. You can go up and physically touch and connect. And there's so much more for us all to explore. And I'd like to say thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure to connect with you. And I encourage everyone to take a moment, even if it's just 1 minute each day, and you can do it just now. Take a nice big deep breath in through the nose and breathe out what no longer serves you, nice and loud. Just let it go. And to remember that your heart has all the answers you seek, all of what you seek. is within you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Jon Binnie from here in Scotland. And of course, if you're interested and connected with me, feel free to connect. I'm sure my details will be shared in the description below. And it's an honor to connect with you. And I'd love to see you again sometime. Take care, beautiful souls. Thank you so much. Bye.